Jodi Arias got moved to a new jail today. At least that's according to her mother. She tried to visit Jodi in the psych ward, but was told that Jodi moved back to the jail where she was originally held. So that means Jodi would be out of the psych ward, and we're just days from the start of the next phase of her trial. The jury now has the incredible burden of deciding whether she should live or die. So she already told a Phoenix TV station that she actually prefers death, and then there was this questionable comment.
I've been told that I don't have any mitigating factors.
By who?
My attorney.
Kirk Nurmi said to you there are no mitigating factors for you in terms of arguing against the death penalty.
Nothing that is what you typically see in a case like this, such as a childhood where there was drugs, alcoholism, molestation.
All right, HLN legal correspondent Beth Karras joins me now. And Beth, those mitigating factors are essentially the reasons to help spare her life. So if Kirk Nurmi told her that, he's essentially throwing in the towel on this case.
Well, not necessarily. I think Jodi Arias misunderstood him or didn't give a complete enough answer. You know, there are five statutory mitigating factors. And she apparently doesn't fit any of those five. The sixth one is basically a catch-all that says anything else that the judge deems relevant that will go to her character, I'm reading it, or the background or the nature and circumstance of the crime, and if the judge allows it. So, I mean, the fact that this is her first conviction, maybe a little bit more about her home life and why she, turned out the way she did. Maybe put on some friends to say she does do nice things too. She's not just the evil woman who has been portrayed in court for the evil thing she admits she did, although she says she was justified in doing it. So there are things that can be put on. Just because Kirk Nurmi said she doesn't fit within any of the five above the catch-all doesn't mean he doesn't have something to put on.
And I agree with you, Beth. Maybe she misheard it, and we all know Jodi Arias has a tendency to stretch the truth. So maybe he did tell her something, and maybe we're not hearing his side of the story. Now, talk to us about her alleged release from the psych ward. What do we know about that?
Well, I mean, we've learned that she's moved back to Estrella jail. I mean, that's why her mother couldn't visit her this afternoon, because she was in the process of being transported back. Now, I haven't spoken to anyone from the sheriff's department, but I can just tell you from experience, a person is under observation or in a ward like this until evaluated by the doctors, and the doctors conclude, she's not a threat to herself, and she can go back to general population. I'm assuming she'll go back to the pod where she was before, among the inmates who have become friends. But if they release her from the psych ward, they must not consider her to be a danger to herself. Okay,
and Beth, let's look ahead to Wednesday. Medical examiner Kevin Horn expected to take the stand. We heard him at trial. What do you expect him to offer at this phase? He can offer a little bit more than he did at trial.
Yes. Right now, Juan Martinez has to demonstrate to the jury that this was especially cruel. And the jury has to be convinced beyond a reasonable doubt that the evidence shows it's especially cruel, extreme cruelty. Every death is cruel, but this has to be especially cruel. So what he will do is talk about the length of time it took to kill Travis Alexander and the pain that Alexander must have been in. We heard Jodi Arias talk about a nick on her wrist when she first got arrested and she was still in Wairika in the jail up there, how she thought about committing suicide but hurt too much. Well, she stabbed and sliced Travis Alexander 29 times, 5 of them defensive wounds, 24 by her, including that 3.5 to 4 inch deep gash across his throat, because he was very close to the door to get outside his bedroom, and she was trying to kill him and he wasn't dying, and she needed to do him in. And that's why I believe she did it right at the threshold to his bedroom, just a couple of feet from the door where he could have gotten out of his bedroom. And if he started dripping blood through the house or ran outside, she wasn't going to get away with it for 6 weeks the way she did.
And you know what, Beth? My heart really goes out to the Alexander family who will be in that courtroom listening to this kind of testimony, even more graphic than what we heard in the trial, all over again. Beth, thank you.
My pleasure.